There's Jeremy.
Hi there. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. I've got someone on the phone here that'll be joining us momentarily. I'm just doing a little guidance.
Okay, well, there's only a couple of us right now, but we'll see. John's on now, Mike.
Okay.
There you go, Vic.
Hello, Michael Pale.
Victor Megenity.
Yeah, John. Hey, Bob Roberts. Good seeing you, buddy.
Hey, and you too.
Bob Roberts, the historian from English, Indiana.
Jeremy got me on this thing, and I didn't have the right length to get on. I had an old length, I guess.
You know who that is?
Are you still mowing the grass up there?
Oh, I'm getting someone the last few times to mow it on me. That I ended up with some broken ribs and everything, and I kind of had to stay around it and stuff. I'm back in shape again. It's good to see. Good to see you, Michael. And
Nice to see you.
I was thinking about your friend Donnie that passed away.
Donnie Sanford, yes.
His two sisters, Pauline. She's the
I
only
didn't
one.
know Pauline. She was older.
She is the only one left. She's in the nursing home now.
Maxine's still living, isn't she?
Yeah, but she's the only one left in her class. And
Maxine
Maxine is the only one left in her class.
I see. Okay.
I'll tell you a little story on Maxine. When I started out in the first grade, there was a big class. And so they made some extra seats in the room. The last deal was an old orange crate. It had a divider in the center where they could put their books. And the next year, the first grade come in like that, till they skipped 5 students. And it's Mary Martha Bird, Mary Martha Batman, and Rosemary Starr, and Maxine Staniford, and Max Duggins.
Okay.
And they all went to the 3rd grade.
You never make money on poetry.
Hi, John.
I think he just said Maxine skipped a grade.
She may have. I don't know.
I had John come in there just a moment ago.
Yeah, John's on his telephone.
Yeah, he was on the phone.
I think he's stepping away. He'll be back. Speaking of telephones, Bob, I hung up our call.
Okay, I'll turn this thing off then.
All right.
Thank you very much. I had the wrong number on it. I couldn't swing it.
Thanks for joining us. And I should say that each month, it's always the 2nd Sunday of the month. And it's always 5 p.m. Eastern, and it's always that same link to join. And
do you have a new link all the time?
No, it's always the same link. So
I'll have that then down pat. All I have to do is turn it on.
Exactly. And I'll also mention that in the past, we started this, I think we started this in May. And I know that you've watched some of these videos that have been posted by the Historical Society, I think, on their Facebook page. And so you know that we've been recording them. So if anyone has anything against being recorded, I think I mentioned this to Melvin. I hope I did last time because he joined us for the first time. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because we don't have to record it, but people have been comfortable doing that, and we've then, of course, been able to share it with the Historical Society. So if you have anything risque or insulting to say, you either save it for another time, or let me know, and I'll hit the pause button.
I'll watch my language.
Now
Okay, I'm with you guys now.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Is
Hi, Bob.
Bobby Mason on there today?
He hasn't joined as yet. He's joined us the last, each time in the past. I haven't heard anything one way or the other from him. Vic was on a minute ago, but he dropped off, and we haven't seen Gordon yet. He usually joins us, so I don't know. I don't know about the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Vic's certainly trying. He's
Hi,
been on
Melvin.
twice and then lost it. I don't know what's going on there.
Has it been 2
Hi,
times?
Bob. Yeah, he's been on twice, and then he and I were on together at first, and then we lost him, and then he lost him again. But I guess he's with his daughter, though, so they're still working on it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Gordon, I don't know about, and Robert Mason, I don't know about today. But before I forget, I already said it to my granddad and Uncle John, but to all the grandparents, grandfathers, happy Grandparents' Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
And Bob, there's no format to this, so everybody just talks amongst themselves. Vic usually has some trivia that he likes to pose to the group, and actually I've got some trivia this time that Granddad and Uncle John have been involved in, and not knowing that it was going to be trivia today, and so that's going to be. Let's see here. Let me see how I'm going to phrase this. I'm going to ask who played the original Tarzan? That's how I'm going to phrase it.
Johnny Weissmiller.
No, there was somebody before Weissmiller,
Oh, I think you're probably right.
but I can't think of his name.
Now, when was Weissmiller Tarzan, or when was Tarzan first?
30s and 40s.
Well, no, he made a movie in 1932.
Yeah, 30s and 40s, I think.
32. We talked about Johnny Weissmiller.
Who were you talking about?
Johnny Weissmiller.
Oh,
Playing
Johnny
Tarzan.
Weissmuller as Tarzan, yeah.
I think in 1932 was one of the earliest movies he made.
I don't remember that much specific, but I know there was a Tarzan before Weissmiller for a short time, and then Weissmiller was Tarzan for a long time.
Yeah.
He was the best one they had.
And,
Yeah.
and he was a swimmer. I think both of them were swimmers,
Yeah.
Olympic swimmers.
No, they're talking about the kids going
You know-
to school
you know-
now, missed their graduation and all of that. The class in front of me in school that would have graduated in 1944, there were 9 boys in that class. When it come to graduation, there only one left. The rest of them had been drafted.
Yeah.
He went to the Navy 2 weeks after school was out. If I'd hold up a picture, you think you could maybe recognize it?
That might work. And let me mention here first, though, Bob. Let me mention for you and for Melvin. I don't know if Melvin does Zooms very often, but there are 2 different views. There are 2 different views that you can have. You can either see just the person who's speaking, or you can see everybody on the screen. So depending on which view you have, on the upper right-hand corner, it'll say either speaker view or gallery view. And you can change between the 2.
It has a view and it has an arrow. It has a view is on its things.
Speaker view and gallery view. So if you want to see everybody who's on.
I'll tell you what, I see all of us up at the top.
Perfect.
And you are large in the center.
and I'm large because I'm talking. So you can change it on the upper right hand corner. You can click on gallery view, and that will make it so that you see everybody equally.
Okay, I'll hit that one. I'll see if I
Well,
hit
I
the
don't know.
right
I think
button.
I think the way you've got it is probably more useful, especially if Bob wants to put up a picture.
Yeah, I get your picture now real good, Melvin.
Okay. Well, you can try
You
putting
got
up
it.
your picture, Bob.
Okay,
You
thank
got to hold it in front of wherever your camera is. My camera's on the very top of the screen.
Okay, mine is too. I just got a new computer that has this on there. And Mike's at ease.
Yeah, so you can hold up the picture, but you also need to talk, because anybody who has speaker view will only be able to see it well if you're speaking. That's why I was letting people know that they can change their views.
If I start talking and hold up the picture, you can see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and we
Can
hope
I do
so.
that? Can I do that now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, these are three guys that was in that senior class, and this was probably someplace in France in the 44 or 45. And can you gentlemen see that one?
He's going to show a picture.
You have to
Can you
talk,
see
Bob.
that?
Hold it
Oh,
back
will you
a
hold
little
it up
farther,
yet? No, I can't see it.
a little farther back.
Okay.
Hold it back away from the camera a little farther. It was up too close. Back and up a little higher. Back
Okay.
more and up a little. There, now you're getting better. A little bit more yet. More up, more up, more up, more up. Hey, there we go. Okay, now we got it.
That's good. So keep it right there, and now you talk, Bob. You talk while you're holding the picture right there.
Okay. Hold the picture up and talk, Bob.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we see it now.
Are we
See the
supposed
three
to
guys.
recognize those guys?
The
Yeah.
guy in the light shirt was Ralph Leisure, and the one in the middle is Bill Gillen.
Yeah,
And the
that's
other
what I
was
thought.
Andrew Green.
Who are they?
One of them in the light shirt, that's Ralph Leisure. He was a half brother to Gordon Gillen. And then Bill Gillen is in the center. And Andrew Brown is the other one.
I recognized Bill Gillen.
Yeah.
Was he Bob Gillen's brother?
No. He was his cousin. He was
Oh,
the
is
bar.
that Billy Hugh?
He
Oh,
bought
Billy Hugh, as we called him.
Yeah, Billy Hugh. Yeah, at one time he was
Okay.
sheriff of Crawford County. Okay, I just wanted you guys to see that.
Yeah, that was interesting. You know, Bob, you mentioned Maxine Staniford. We had a 100th birthday party for my dad when he turned it, and I had went through all his effects, and I found an old newspaper that they took a picture when he got drafted, and it showed the picture was Maxine Staniford handing him a gift, and me in the background. So at his 100th birthday, 52 years later, we posed that same picture again and took a replica.
Well, that was good. That the students that I mentioned that were skipped out of the second grade, out of the 5 of them, I know 4 of them finished college.
Wow, that's great.
That was pretty good. The boy was Max Duggins, and he graduated. He moved from English to Terre Haute. He graduated from Rose Poly. Pardon?
Are you still living around English, Bob?
I live in the house where Lois and I got married. It was up to her grandmother's, next to her mother's. We were married in this house in 1958 and lived here ever since.
Bob is the mayor of Sloan Avenue.
Maybe Mike will remember the 6-headed monster that was in the well that Granny Brown warned us about. Remember that, Mike?
How was that, John?
I don't
didn't
remember
come.
that.
There was a well up there on the hillside, and we'd go up and play in it. And Granny said no, she didn't want us up there fooling with it. So she told us there was a 6-headed monster in that well that would get after us if we played in it.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? Well,
Oh, it was right behind the house here. It's still up
Right.
there.
right up behind the house, yeah. I wonder, did they ever
Yeah.
fill that well in or what?
And that, that we would all been neighbors because we used to always go up there to Flanigan's Falls. And we would fix a little fire up there and fix up our hot dogs.
Right.
Then someone said, who's buried up there? And I said, not anyone that I know of. And said, well, there's a tombstone up there. And so I went up there and you guys had taken Mari's tombstone, his marker up there, and left it. Do you remember that? She said,
Whose
"You had a lot-
tombstone?
That's your father's marker up there for his, you put it up Flanigan's Hollow.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where we scattered his ashes. That's why.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And buried Martha Jane's ashes there too.
And
Yeah.
So
Martha
he really
Jane-
was there, huh?
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that was a graveyard.
Well, I don't know if you call it a graveyard, but it's a place where the ashes are scattered. Yeah.
When I was a kid, that probably scared me to death. Across that.
Granddad,
So John, you're the furthest away, right?
Well, I reckon I'm always the farthest away. Yeah.
Are you in the main island, Oahu?
On Oahu. Yeah.
Have been there all the time, or did you teach other places?
Oh, well, we were in Samoa for 12 years. American Samoa.
That sounds interesting.
We got so used to the weather and the climate and the ocean and the multiple types of people, and we just didn't want to come back to a place where everybody was white and wore brown shoes and jackets. So yeah, we've been here ever since.
Yeah.
Vic, can you hear us? Can you see us and hear us, Vic? Because we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Who?
Vic Megenity.
Oh, Vic. Yeah.
He's on his phone because the computer gave out. We can see you, Vic, but we can't hear you. I think he and his daughter are troubleshooting.
I think his phone's lying on the table and we're looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, maybe it's an iPad. Yeah, I think it's a tablet maybe. Hey, Granddad. Speaking of Granny Brown, you tell a story about Granny Brown.
Well, my grandmother Flanigan had me, when I was quite little, had me go up to Granny Brown. There were about 3 or 4 older folks, and I was supposed to fill their coal buckets for them. And Granny Brown was one of them. Wash Hooten underneath was another one.
Yeah.
And George Brown was Granny's son, wasn't he? Did
Claude
Granny Brown have a son?
Yeah, Claude Brown.
Claude.
Claude Brown. Okay, I'm sorry. Claude Brown. That's who it was.
And then they had a daughter by the name of Lois, and that's who Lois was named after. She died when she was about 18 or 19 years old. And she was in Bill Beasley's class in school.
Is that right?
Yeah. Give you a little history there.
So Granddad, you filled coal bins, including Granny Brown's, and you tell a story about her specifically.
Couldn't see a thing. Remember, she was giving me too much money.
Oh yeah, she was paid me once a month, and she kept her money in a Bible, And I went up there and she was going to pay me, and she was looking for $1 in the Bible, and she pulled out a 20, and she didn't realize it was a 20. And I said, Granny, that's not right. That's a $20 bill. So I was pretty honest back there.
That was a good way to be.
You were pretty honest when you found Dr. Novi's billfold with $2,000 in it too.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah,
Very lousy memory.
he had been out on, those benches that the old men would sit on out there in front of, I guess it was on the street in front of the Green Lantern in that area. And apparently the billfold fell out of his pocket in behind the bench there. And Granddad Flanigan and you were walking by there. I wasn't around, so I'm telling what they told me about it, but you spotted it because you were short. You could see under the bench. So you reached under and got it. And Granddad opened it up and it had $2,000 in it. And
boy, that was a lot of money then. You could buy a house for that.
I'll say that was in the Depression. That was probably 1930, 6 or 7. And so they returned it to Novi, and Novi was very happy about it and gave you a tip. I don't remember what it was. But he was happy to get it back.
He finally ended up, he was a very good friend of mine. When I was working at Jeffersonville for the railroad, Novi liked to bet the horses. And I had a bookie up there who was kind of a friend of mine. And he would send me up money, and it wasn't unusual, $50 or $100. And he was telling me, he said, I'd like to show you something, Bob. And he had a book or a pamphlet that was fairly thick. And he said, here is a record of every horse that I ever bet on. And said how they come in and how much they paid and how much they bet. I had bet on them.
Oh my.
And so he turned out to be a very, very good friend of mine as he got older. He was quite a bit older, but he was a very good friend.
I have a story to mention. One time in late grade school, I happened to be riding in a car with my father and Mr. Beals, the superintendent of schools. And Mr. Beals knew I had gone to school in New Albany also. So he turns to me and asks me, he says, well, which schools did you like best, New Albany or English? And I said, oh, I like English a lot better. And he kind of got a proud smile on his face, and he says, well, what did you like about English? And I said, well, New Albany, they go to school 9 months out of the year. In English, it's only 8 months, I think his smile kind of melted away then.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, good.
Got lost.
Now you're
We didn't pay our dues on using the internet.
Yeah.
there you go. We was talking about Mr. Beals.
Oh,
Gordon.
Gordon is chiming in.
When he would come into a room and look over those glasses, I don't believe I would even breathe. And he would walk around and look where you could drop a pin in that room and hurt it, because he really had discipline.
Well, Bob, I think you're one of the few that continue to live in English or around English all these many years. I can think of course, Bill Smith and Bob Gilland as a couple or so. And I guess Ronnie Dembo spent most of his working life there. But I think most of us scattered to the four winds.
It's true that everyone's gone and stuff. I think there's 4 of us left, graduated. And that was 1 girl and 3 boys. Gordon, you just came on there.
Hi, Bob.
Since Gordon came in there, I would like, I don't know whether you can see all this picture or not, but this is the basketball team in 42 and 43. Can you see that? Which one? You raise it up or down? Brother Don is in that. Can you see that, Gordon?
I can see that, yes.
Just
You see your brother?
pull it back a little bit. Pull it back towards you a little bit, Bob.
Okay.
A little bit
Yep.
more.
I see the two Dons together.
Yeah.
Who's the
Who's the coach?
Yeah, that was in 42 and 43. I played with him. And Donald Vogelsong was so blind he couldn't see the score. I just wanted you to see that. You know, talking to Melvin and everything, I had to hear more stories on Bill Beasley and everything. You know, he walked to town every
Yeah.
day, but what he would do would get him a piece of pie. You have that sweet tooth.
Yeah, he did.
And when we would have some kind of an outing, I'd get a plate of pie and everything else and take to Bill. And
Mhm.
he never called me Bob or anything. He always called me Roberts. He'd say, "Thank you, Roberts." Every boy in his school, in his class, he called by their last name.
Yeah. You know,
Whatever
I mentioned about my dad's 100th birthday, and one of the things that in that same article I was talking about Maxine Stanford, I came across, it said that Mr. Beasley actually could have been deferred from the draft because he was the only sole support of his son, but he chose not to. And all those years, I never knew that till I read that article. He was looking for a little excitement, you know. He was looking to get out of there for a while, and he ended up teaching radar school in Georgia, which was the right job for him.
Oh, yes.
I recall, Melvin, I recall that he once told us that he served with a man named Major Minor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A major minor.
Yeah.
Well, he was the only one that knew mathematics. When he left the Army, we got a guy in there that he absolutely didn't know anything about math. And you'd ask him a question, he'd turn to the back of the book and said, "There's the answer." He'd pointed out. He never explained it. You know, they're building a new bridge over 37 in old downtown English. It goes over Camp Cork. They built that one in 1935. And the night they opened it up, I walked across it and came back. And they had two big square dances in English. One was in front of the theater, and it was up on 5th Street in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And just this last year, Sunday, before they started building that bridge and tearing it down, I went down and walked across it. And, I don't know whether you can see that picture or not, but that was a picture of the old bridge when they started to build it. And the bottom one down there is a back street, and they didn't have any bridge down there. They took the bridge from uptown and moved it down there. They used to have to drive through the creek. I don't know whether you guys can see that very good or not, can you?
Pretty much.
Okay. But that has to deal with the bridge downtown, and they've got the abutments poured now, but they've got the road closed that goes through English. So everything's disappearing that was in the old town.
You know, many years after the prosperity days, or when English was already sort of deserted, I was walking through the downtown one day and there was hardly anybody else around. And some person that I took to be a lot older than me was there, some old gray-haired guy smoking a cigarette. And I fell into a conversation with him, and he says, "Well, I know you." He says, "I'm Jackie Way." Remember Jackie Way from grade school? He
my
always wore a
goodness.
cap.
He was in my class at school.
Was he?
Jackie Way.
Yeah.
His sister was in my class.
Oh, yeah.
Early Way.
Crystal.
Crystal
Crystal.
Pearl.
Crystal Early Way. I'll be darned.
Ivy was her father. And when you'd see him walking down the street, Ivy was first and then his wife. And Jackie and Pearlie came afterwards. They always walked according to seniority.
Okay.
Does
Well, they
anyone
held Crystal
recall?
back, didn't they? Didn't they keep Crystal back in grade school or something? I thought they did. Maybe not.
I'm not aware of that. It's possible, I guess.
Okay.
She was
I
in
must have been thinking of somebody else.
she was in class with me in Dick Levin's class, fourth grade.
Yeah. I remember some girl, and it must have been somebody else in the third grade or so, or second grade, that was a head taller than everybody else, because if she couldn't learn, they just kept her back, you know.
No, I don't know who that would be.
Does anyone recall the story of Jackie Way when Mart Dooley was town marshal, and Mart walked up to Jackie and said, "I want you out of town by 4 o'clock." And Jackie said, "Mart, is that fast time or slow time?"
Oh, that was good.
Didn't know much about Jackie. I know Crystal had a lot of learning problems in fourth grade, and I wondered whatever happened to her. Somebody was telling me that as she became an adult, she ended up having a very responsible position with the state government or something like that. Anybody know about that?
I don't know.
I think maybe Paula said that to me, but that's all I remember.
It seemed as though we lost Vic again.
It would be hard to imagine. She seemed seriously slower than everybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah, she did. That's why I was interested to hear that, and I was pleased with it. But I don't know any more about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a case where the home environment was a very major part of
Really?
what was affecting her schoolwork.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing that's new.
Yeah.
They finally moved the cannon uptown, and they're going to work on it and put it where the veteran stones are.
Jack, you trying to call me?
And I've been trying to get them to move Old Man English up there, but I can't seem to get anyone involved in it. But the cannon is up. The guy's name Ray Rowe, or not Ray Rowe, Ray's boy, and he's going to sand it and color it and paint it and everything and put it over there where the veteran stones are. Now, if we could get Old Man English moved up there, it would be fine, where the people who goes by there could see it. I keep working on it. Maybe I'll get it done one of these days. I worked on a school to get them to open up the English school again, but I couldn't get anybody interested. They moved the middle school to Marengo, and they didn't have any playground, no place to park or anything. And I was telling them that English had plenty of parking spaces. They had a track, they had a ball diamond and everything. And they said, "Oh, it's got mold in it. You didn't want it." But now they're probably moving the new middle school, going to build one over where the high school is. And Patoka School down there has a mound system. That is where there's sewage and everything dumped into it, and they need to get pumps and everything. And someone was telling me the other day that 2 or 3 of the pumps had gone out, and they were having problems with it. English has sewage up there and everything else, but they just want to do away with the school. They're not doing anything with it, and it's a shame. It's not in that bad a shape. And the playground and everything, there's plenty of room up there. No one's interested in it.
Somebody needs to write a book about little things that you can say during times of quietude on Zoom.
Yeah, right. Well, John, I guess you don't get back to English very often when you consider the flight time.
No, once a year has been the rule, although I think that may be passé now too. I'm very shy about getting on a plane right now.
Yeah, well, that's a long day.
Well, it's not that. It's just with the coronavirus still floating around, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
We're isolated here. Ann and I are getting along okay. We're old enough that we don't want to add that kind of a challenge.
Well, here in California, weather is one of the main subjects right now, you know, with the smoke and the fires and everything.
Oh, my.
We're not in any danger from it, but the smoke, there's a smoke in the air. You can realize that it's there.
Yeah, as I was mentioning before with our daughter up in Portland, in a little town called Milwaukee, I don't understand why Oregon has so many cities named after other cities. You got Milwaukee and Detroit and whole bunch of others that are.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's in a suburb southeast of Portland, and I guess they're under a warning about possibly having to evacuate. So they're supposed to have all their valuables packed up and ready to pick up and go. And her boyfriend's family has been evacuated. They lived on a farm farther south, and they've had to move their animals and themselves out. So it's a pretty tough situation there right now.
Yeah, and I think people moved there with the expectation that this was like a rainforest and never had to worry about that.
Yeah, right. No
on another subject, one time I was back at English and somebody was telling me about this park down on Little Blue. I guess some private person donated it or something, and I thought it was quite a nice place, but I was wondering if you guys know any more about the history.
Sycamore Springs.
It was the Robertsons.
Straight down Little Blue, not Dog Creek.
Robertson and those,
and they made a big bunch of money off of hotels and motels, that kind of stuff, and so I guess they've established an endowment as a gift to the county, and that endowment supports that park. Very, very nice thing.
Maintains it.
He passed away.
Well, that's great. That was quite nice.
That,
and everything's free.
John Robertson was next to there, and David and Jackie. I don't know whether you knew any of them, Hydra, and one of the girls. And the two girls are running now, the two Robertson girls. I think the rest of the family's just about died. But he bought the people around there and everything, built log cabins, and that's practically free.
We had our class of 50, we had annual meetings down there for several years until they closed it down because of worry about the flood. Hang on, my wife is calling before my attention. Oh, farmer's market. Okay, take care. She's going out to farmer's market to replenish the pantry.
Well, you know, the Megenity boys used to have their class reunion down there and have the alumni down there. Did you guys ever to that one? They had
we started it with just a class of 50. We started it with just a class of 50, but as the number of the class dwindled down, we started inviting everybody else. So it became just a English high school reunion.
It finally got all the Megenity boys disappeared except two of them. And I think maybe Doug was the one that kind of pitched in.
Doug was the one that managed that supervised organized the thing pretty well. Merle Roll did that too while Merle was still with us.
I guess Vic's not back, is he? I was going to ask him if his brother Mark is still there.
Yeah, Mark is still in English. Bob, you still play golf with Mark Megenity, don't you?
Well, he walks there. He was in a real serious car accident about 2 or 3 years ago. That somebody come out of the back street and he was back there where the goes up the cemetery wall. He knocked him completely out there and against the wall. We had a heck of a time getting him out and stuff. But I mean, he's still really jammed up, and he walks and uses a dumbbell and everything. And he works on. I don't think he'll ever play golf again.
Oh, I did. I knew about that accident, but I didn't realize that he wasn't golfing.
No, he isn't. He walks the golf course. He's down there fairly often. But he was really too that, I've been on the English Fire Department since April 1950. And we were the first rural fire department in southern Indiana that had extrication. And we would go in, all over the county and maybe out of the county to get people out of cars and stuff. But we have they have about 3 firehouses now and have at different places, one at Sulphur and one at Tazewell, about 50 members. And I don't know, 16 or 18 firefighting deals. In fact, the last pumper we paid $368,000. So we have probably one of the top-notch fire departments in southern Indiana for a rural deal. It started out, we had one old Seagraves, and we still have that when I went on the fire department. But I still do a few things, flag traffic and stuff like that, maybe open doors for the ambulances and work around the firehouse. But it keeps me out of trouble.
Bob, maybe you know what happened to the fire siren?
What fires? I have no idea. The post is still down there and the little switch they used to hit, but it's all disconnected and everything. But I don't know what happened to the fire siren. We have several around the town in various places that they blow once a month, and then they have it in case we have a tornado or something like that. They'll blow them. But I don't know what happened to that deal. Verde, I think, used to set that off. Verde Stanford or Verde Boston.
We'd hear the siren, and everybody would pick up their phone, and Verde would get 15 different calls at one time, and she'd just yell into the thing and tell where the fire was, because she knew that's what everybody was after.
Well, the old firehouse used to have to break out a little glass where the lock was.
Yeah.
And reach in and lock it. And as soon as you did, you grab the phone, and fire says it's John Jones' house. And no, she kept up and everything. And sometimes you would call down there and said, I'd like to speak to Eloise Easterts. Oh, she's up at Howard Nether's playing cards. I'll switch you up there.
Right.
But they were in on
that. I called somebody one time. I can't think who it was, and she said, "Oh, they're not home. I just saw them walk by going down to the store." I really missed it when they took her away and made it all automatic.
They knew everything that was going by, around in English.
What was that?
They knew everything that was happening in English.
Oh yeah.
Lois's mother worked down there with her, Maureen.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I found out a lot of things I normally wouldn't have found out.
Her son was a friend of mine, Jimmy Austin. We did quite a lot of things together. He was big into technology, so at basketball games, he'd set up a tape recorder, and I'd announce the games. And then he'd send the games down to WITZ in Jasper. And they played them a couple of times, and they finally decided they couldn't get any advertisements, so they quit doing it. But that was kind of fun. It would be nice if they'd saved some of those tapes. It would be fun to listen to that.
They have a radio station over at the high school now. Smith helped set it up.
Mhm.
Oh, you know him.
I guess the post office is long gone, isn't it?
Pardon?
The post office is long gone.
The post office.
Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Everything
Everything's gone
downtown is
downtown,
gone.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was another social center, more or less.
Yeah.
I used to go down there and get my dad's mail at a box one. I think he had. He must have got there first when they were giving them out.
It's uptown now, and they probably have 7 or 8 carriers operate off of there. They don't have any post office at Grantsburg or West Fork or Sulphur or Tazewell, and the carriers operate out of there anymore. They have quite a business up there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it gets delivered to the houses now, right?
Yeah.
The mail?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a truck comes in and everything. I had a mail route, went through Grantsburg, West Fork, and Sulphur, and I always swapped pouches with them at all 3 deals and picked up mail there. I was driving 133 miles a day when I retired, and through Mifflin, and Tick Ridge, and Sulphur, Riddle, all of those, and down in Perry County. And
So you did that every day?
Every day, 5 days a week. And
What's all those sayings about not snow nor hail or anything keeps the postman away or something?
Well, I tell you, back then, I think it was 78, we had snow drifts that were probably 8 or 10 feet high. And nobody could get out of town and stuff.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even bulldoze it out. Mulzer gave us some big dippers that they used to quarry, and they had to dip that thing out to clear the roads. That was, the Army sent in some stuff, and the guys got their 6x hung up. So it was quite a snow.
Yeah.
I've seen snow a couple of times, but I haven't been through a winter since what was our last winter, 1966. We did come home to visit Christmas time a couple of times. So.
Well, you slid over enough hills with your sled when the snow was on. We used to go over Courthouse Hill and Needmore because there wasn't any traffic. Nobody had any automobiles, and they didn't take them out of the garage when it snowed.
We had that big hill right in front of the house that we called English Hill. That was right on the west side of the valley, and that was a great sledding place. Get up on the top, and always a lot of people up there sledding when the snow was right. Sledding and kite flying.
Well, you could walk right up the hill. There. You used to have a place where you go across the fence to get on that hill.
Yeah.
And that bastard belonged to my father. And we'd open up the gates down below there and go down, and you would go all the way down to Court Street and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't worry about it. But remember, they used to get the loose candy in on Christmas. They couldn't keep it through the year because it would melt.
Oh, yeah.
And the AC store would have chocolate covered peanuts and everything. And Edsel Tyler's dad worked in there, Chip Tyler. And you could go in, I'd go in for a nickel, you could get 6 ounces of chocolate covered peanuts. And if Duke Gills weighed them out and it went up there, he'd take out a couple of peanuts. So if we waited, he went in the back end and get Tyler with her, and that was Ed's dad. He'd put in 6 ounces, and then he'd drop in 4 or 5 more nuts. So I always remember Chet Tyler for that.
I'm going to share my screen here for a second just to show a photo, which I shared a few months ago, but for Bob's benefit and maybe Melvin's benefit, I'm going to share it now. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was, you all came up to visit me. I think I've been in either mowing or something with the outfit I got on. That was Donnie Stanford with you too? I see Arnie there.
Donnie might have been. I don't remember. This was in 2017. I don't remember if he ran around that day or not.
I thought you guys were all together.
That's me.
Arnie did. That Arnie was a very good friend of mine. You know, when he was in service and stuff, he would send me a lot of things. So when I'd get the Sunday Courier Journal, we had a big sports section. So I would wrap it up every Sunday and send it to Arnie. Go ahead. I thought Gordon wanted to say something.
Oh, I was just moving my light here. I did want to mention, though, that when you said something about the Grantsburg post office, Laura Ferguson ran the post office there, and she lived with her daughter, Kate Searles, and she built a room under the house for the post office. And when the house burned, Laura died in that post office trying to get out. And Pop Mullen and Garrisburg and I carried her out, and she had burned to death.
Wow.
I rode the fire truck to that call. And when we got there, her body was lying outside there, and they told us that she had gone back in to try to get the money.
That's right, she did.
Try to rescue the money.
We carried her across the street and put her on the porch of that store right across the street. It was very sad, very sad.
Yes, very sad.
What year would that have been, approximately?
I think I was about 15 years old when it happened, and I couldn't sleep for 3 weeks.
Oh, you remember something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a lighter subject, but Gordon, you had remembered a story that my granddad didn't remember about his mom getting an album for him in Louisville. What was that story? I wonder if that'll ring a bell to him today.
Well, Mike and I were downtown, and his mom stopped and said she was going to Louisville, and she said, "Do you need anything?" And he said he wanted a record that was El Paso, and it was Marty Robbins' record.
Granddad doesn't remember that, but you do, Gordon. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's strange the things you do recall, little things like that. But as you think back about all the time we spent in English, a lot of memories do come back. And it's interesting to hear what others remember.
So Jeremy, where are you physically? Are you in the Washington, D.C. area, or are you in the Indiana someplace?
I'm in Indiana, in South Bend.
Okay.
Which up until, I don't know, a year or so ago, I've been here a couple years, and up until a year or so ago, I had never heard that South Bend is in the north and North Vernon is in the south, and French Lick isn't what you think it is.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a Hoosier joke.
I can't believe I'd never heard that before.
I was always puzzling. I know I've mentioned this before, but I was always puzzling about why Southern Indiana, we had two towns, Paoli and Marengo, that were named after cities in northern Italy, and I never quite figured out what the connection was there.
You know, you hear things about stuff. You guys all remember Dutch Nance?
Sure.
Doris
Nance.
That's Dutch's son-in-law was going to college up there. John, he was taking Christian. Well, I thought there may be chandeliers or something, I didn't know what it was, but he was going for his documents. So somebody asked Dutch, said, what's John going to be when he graduates? And Dutch said, senile.
I have a very good friend in San Diego. He was recorder of the Shriners out there, and I was recorder for Murat Shriners in Indianapolis. And we've been friends for many years. He told me recently that he took the Bourbon Tour in Kentucky, and as a part of that, he and his wife went over to French Lick and stayed a few nights, and he was very impressed with French Lick.
I used to sing with a band there at the hotel in French Lick for a couple of summers.
I used to go to an annual convention there. It was a bankers convention, and I was involved with I was supervisory agent for the insured savings and loans in Indiana and Michigan. So we'd go to French Lick for the Indiana convention and go to the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island for Michigan. And the Grand Hotel was a wonderful place to stay.
Right.
And I had told people that I called my wife, what's her name, and I told them that I was from Resume Speed, Indiana. It was the only sign we had. So one year when we got to the Grand Hotel, I started to check in and went to the registration desk for the convention, and they had my name as Gordon Husk, Resume Speed, Indiana, and then they had my wife's name tag as what's her name, Resume Speed, Resume Speed, Indiana. I got to the desk of the hotel and started to check into the room. And the lady said, your room isn't quite ready yet. They're filming part of the movie Somewhere in Time in your room. Oh, and okay. So some of my friends said, I suppose you were the stunt double for the bedroom scenes. That's all sure, yeah. So, but the movie was being filmed right there with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
Very good film, by the way.
Good movie.
Very, very thoughtful or thought-provoking. Right. Where did the watch come from?
Pardon me?
Where did the watch come from? The watch that kept being passed from time period to time period.
I don't remember.
Oh, when he went back in time and the girlfriend gave him the watch, or he gave her a watch.
Yeah.
Because she had given it to him in the present as an old lady. So she gave it to him in the present. He went back into the past and gave it to her, which she then carried on to the present to give to him, that he then went back into the past to give to her, and so on. And who made the watch?
Right. When we saw that movie, my son Mike right away looked at the Grand Hotel and said, they have the wrong flags up. They have the current flags on the hotel.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, but the reason I was a little late checking in here is that Mike and I had been down to a local theater, a little center stage theater, and they did the Agatha Christie Black Coffin with Inspector Poirot, and it was very good. And Mike said, well, we can leave early if you want to. I said, no, you've got to stay for the end of this. It was a very good mystery. It's a good play and very well done.
And this was live?
Live right here in Lebanon, yes. We have wall-to-wall floors and everything now.
6 o'clock.
Granddad's the timekeeper. He wants to make sure nobody has too much fun on this Zoom meeting. But yeah, it's been an hour. So unless someone has a burning desire or something they want to ask someone else or tell everybody, then I guess we'll wrap it up until next month. And it'll be, let's see, the second Sunday of October will be the 11th. Sunday, October 11th will be this next meeting.
10, 11, 20.
Okay, see you guys
Okay.
then.
Thanks for your help, Jeremy.
All right, everybody.
Goodbye. Thank
My
you all.
pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
Jade, you get me on here and everything. Thank you very much.
All right.
Good to see you,
Enjoy.
Strawberry. Good to see you, Strawberry.
Bye-bye.
And coffee's a good thing. I don't get out of
Bye,
coffee.
Bye now.
I know you do. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.